Welcome to my channel or Dedong Ampak Vlog Anime Recap.
This is the second part of the anime, Farming Life in Another World. God chooses to check in on Hiraku to see how he is doing since he feels sorry for giving him a sinner's life. As he checks on him, he learns he has placed him in a hazardous woodland known as the Forest of Death, and he understands he has made another mistake. Hiraku had discovered that if he chooses to plant a certain plant when preparing the land for farming, the plant miraculously begins to grow. Hiraku is content with his existence and understands that it was given to him by the gods. He creates sculptures of the two gods in order to express his gratitude to them. Hiraku chooses to try his hand at fruit farming. He plays with his dogs, realizing that he would be much more lonely without them. As the dogs also help him find his way back to his camp, Hiraku is able to travel further into the forest and eventually finds a river. He plans to construct a tunnel to bring water to his house, but since it is a 30-minute walk away, he chooses to first build a toilet near the river. Hiraku figures that if he turns his tool into a wheelbarrow, he can run around with it and not get tired because of the tool. Hiraku also expands his agriculture fields, growing additional vegetables. He plants soybeans and wants to consume them, but doesn't have salt. Time passes and weather starts to get cold. Hiraku worries how cold it gets here after seeing snow on the mountains. He decides to begin winter preparations by gathering food and wood. A huge spider appears, however it's friendly and makes a handkerchief for Hiraku. The spider then chooses to reside in the big tree and loves eating potatoes. In return, the spider makes him clothes from the animal pelts Hiraku gives it. Hiraku feels more civilized after acquiring cloth since he now has a decent bed, curtains, and clothing. He named the spider Zabuton. Winter has begun. Hiraku suspects Zabuton is hibernating since he no longer comes down the tree. Hiraku is lonely, but summer has finally arrived. The small dogs had grown up and one day they left, but they soon returned with partners. Soon after, Zabuton appeared, also with children. Hiraku decides to extend his fields once again since there are now more mouths to feed. Zabuton sounds the alarm, and Kuro guides Hiraku into the jungle. Kuro leads him to a little girl who is naked and caught in a spider web. The dogs and spiders are afraid of her, but when she requests for help, Hiraku chooses to assist her. As he approaches, she jumps and bites his neck, then matures into a young lady. Hiraku wonders whether she is a monster. The dogs then attack her, and while they beat her, she transforms back into a small girl. Hiraku asks whether she is their enemy since she took his blood, but the girl replies that she isn't and that she had to do it to regain her strength. She can't keep her adult shape and clothing on since she used too much energy. Hiraku asks why the dogs attacked her and she explains that she intended to steal one of them. Hiraku, feeling sorry for her, allows her to take more of his blood so she may heal. Hiraku takes her to his home. The girls are shocked to find an agricultural field in the forest, as well as so many fresh crops. Hiraku offers her a tomato, and she enjoys it so much that she wants to sample other vegetables as well. The girl admits her name as Rurushi, a vampire, and she is thrilled to be able to eat so many different vegetables. Ru claims that she is investigating medical ideas and fled after getting into a battle with several nobility who attempted to take her findings. She planned to hide in the forest for a time until everything calmed down, but she also hoped to find some new plants to investigate. She is amazed that Hiraku is living in this dangerous wilderness and has even tamed the monsters. He's also utilizing some bizarre magic to make some tools, which intrigues her even more. Hiraku realizes how unique his opportunity is since this is the first person he has met. Hiraku decides to invite Ru to remain and live with him since it may take much longer to find someone else. Ru attempts to explain that there are people following her and that she is a vampire, but Hiraku seems unconcerned. Hiraku reveals that he came here to live alone since he couldn't cope with others, but he now realizes he doesn't want to live alone and isn't sure how much more he can bear. Ru agrees, explaining that she doesn't really have a place to go, although she feels embarrassed by his proposal. Next morning, Ru turns a little younger. Hiraku questions why, and she reveals that in this form, he will refrain from touching her, to which Hiraku agrees. Hiraku says that he intends to produce sweet potatoes next. He also tells that Ru is the first villagers. Kuro disagrees, and Hiraku corrects himself, saying she is more like the 30th villager. Ru wonders whether Hiraku can produce some medicinal plants, and Hiraku agrees to give it a go. Ru states they need to find somehow the right seeds, but Hiraku states he doesn't need seeds. That's it for now, see you on my next video.